According to Standish Group, only 32% of world projects are successful. Now, one of the elements responsible for this failure is project management methodology. The good part is that's what we're going to be talking about today, right here on the show. Welcome to Certification Insights. My name is Bamidele Vivian Osage. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Get PMP certified and prepare for the winds of 2022. With over 98% pass rate in 2021, let's do it again. Our PMP exam preparatory class for the first quarter holds in January and March. We've been doing this for over 15 years. We're masters and we know our audience. Register now and let's start the year in a grand style.
Certification Edge, building cross-border capabilities.
Welcome back to Certification Insight. My name is Bamidele Vivian Osage. Now, like I did say earlier, today we are going to be talking about project management methodologies. Now, who better than having here to discuss on the topic than Ajibola Bamidele? He is the Managing Director of Certification Edge, and I am so pleased and excited to have you here on the show, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
How was your drive down here? Was it rough? Was it smooth?
It was okay. It was excellent.
I like that. Business mind, always positive. We talk about project management. It's very broad. The methodologies, the systems and all, but let's just say a novice is watching this and we want to start from the back to the top. Who is a project manager?
Okay, so I will define a project manager as someone responsible for the success or the failure of the project. However, that definition is valid if you're still running a traditional or waterfall project management approach. Because there are different approaches to project management, and the Agile does not have a project manager. The role of a project manager in Agile is just to protect the team from any distractions. He is not responsible for the delivery of the project. The team is responsible. So when it comes to the definition of a project manager in a traditional environment, we say is accountable, is responsible, everything right and fall on him. But in an Agile environment, nothing is not responsible for anything. It's meant to just shield the team and make sure they're not being distracted. Who's responsible for the project delivery in an Agile environment is the development team. They're responsible. So it shields in an Agile environment, but in a waterfall traditional environment is in charge. So this definition is contextual. So when people ask me, who is a project manager? I say, is he in the traditional environment or in the Agile environment?
So it depends.
It depends on the context we're talking about.
Okay, let's focus a bit more now on the methodologies when we talk about project management. What are these methodologies? What are the different tools and, implementations that one must, abide to when it comes to project management?
Okay, so let me define what a project management methodology is. These are ways or principles or practices that guide us. They've been tested. So the reason why we have project management methodology is to ensure that we have a guide telling us that instead of doing things anyhow,
there's a way to follow. Okay.
So to organize our work around a particular framework. So now there are diverse kind of methodology. That means there are diverse kind of frameworks. We have the Agile, we have the Waterfall, we have the Scrumban, we have the Kanban, we have the Lean, we have Extreme Programming. There are a lot of them.
The names as you're calling them, I'm just thinking Harry Potter. Are these like words you throw in the air and magic happens?
That depends on the method you're using, but you abide by the principles and the practice of those methods when you're using them. However, you can use hybrid. You can pick some from this method and some from this method, if that works for you. But the major focus of all these methodologies to ensure that you're successful. So if you feel you need this part, you need this part, you need this part, just to make sure you're successful, then do it.
Okay, so which would you recommend?
Now, there's no best. It's also contextual. It depends on the kind of project you are managing that determines which one should we recommend. So we look at the characteristics of the project, the characteristics, the risk factors, and the culture of your organization. So if you work in a core traditional company that they do things on the, I don't want to say backward,
Like in a
but
certain
they
way,
like
and that's
high
how it
level
must be
of
done.
predictability. So we can say it will be so difficult for them to just switch to agile because it takes time. It takes cultural change. Will take a lot of time, a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. So when we want to say, okay, which one should we use? It depends on the characteristics of the project. If it's a high risk project, you want to use more of agile. If it's a low risk project, you want to use. But if it's also the culture you work in is very traditional, then you don't want to use agile first. Okay? So everything is subjective. It's very contextual. I cannot say this the best or this one, but everyone serves its own purpose.
So if someone wants to improve on their project management skill, what would you recommend and how should one go about it?
So if you want to improve a skill, then you start from knowledge. You expose yourself to certain kind of knowledge. So I tell people, the easiest way to know the end-to-end lexicon, terminologies, whatever you want to know to jumpstart you in your project management journey is to do maybe a PMP certification. It gives you understanding of what a project manager is, the methodologies, what you can use. So you have the information, you have the knowledge, so you can start now building more skills by being part of maybe a project, either you're volunteering or you have someone that can guide you, through it. But however, you begin from knowledge. So taking a PMP certificate is a good way to start.
Awesome. I'm suddenly excited because I just feel with these little nuggets that you've shared with myself and whoever's watching right there, we see you, we know you're there. We have an insight into project management methodology. Ajibola Bamidele, this is why you're good in the game and you don't joke with this. Thank you so much for your time for today. Thank you for coming. We're going to call you back again sometime soon.
Thank you.
I hope you would oblige us with your presence. We look forward to having more of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's it on the show for today, right here on Certification Insight. My name remains Bamidele Vivian Osage. Make sure you join us again, same time, for more on Certification Insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Certification Edge, building cross-border capabilities.